Um, Hold on. Officially, John Welsh on the iPhone. Okay. Good morning, John. Good to see you. I gotta say, I'm kind of like, I thought we'd have like a handful, like 3, 4 people, maybe 5. But I love it. I mean, we all know the market's open for 3.5 hours. Recording started. So officially, good morning. Welcome to the Options Income Launchpad Wednesday Market Midpoint. My name is Scott, and I'll be your host. As always, education, illustrative purposes only. Nothing we do or say should be considered or construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security financial product. We're not brokers or advisors, so we don't give any kind of personalized financial advice. Decisions made are done so at your own risk. Yada, yada, yada. Okay, the first one's the more important one. The other ones are just sort of like, da, 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 da. If you've ever wondered, it's always there. You can pause, read it. Agenda, opening analysis, revisit market posture. We did that a little bit last night if you came, but last night there was only a handful of people. I don't fault you. The week of Christmas, I always expect things to just sort of taper off. We have nice, intimate conversations. No, this is a big group. Like I said, I'm pleasantly surprised. Much appreciated. It's good to see everybody. Thank you, Gabe. I love that. Okay, so we already kind of took a peek, but we'll go again. For me, it's kind of a wash of a week. VIX went a little lower. That could be actually a little positive. If I had to guess, and maybe something crazy happens. We know that the market closes early, then it's closed tomorrow, then it's light volume probably on Friday. Just kind of coast into the week. And the posture stays the same. Maybe a tick up for me. I don't know. We'll see. So what's the mindset for trades? Trade by trade. There's nothing about the market that makes me think take profit. And that's what I mean. It's like, it's not like this mindset for open trades. What does that mean? It means that right now, I would expect to be in some bullish trades, but just because the market's doing okay, we just got news that another trade, Intel, which was holding support, is now not going to hold support, at least not on the open. Now, if it opens and then starts to go back up, we'll let it go back up. We'll see if it can close back in, and all of a sudden it's a hammer candle-ish. But we'll also be ready to say, oh, this is it. It's that news is enough that it broke the support. Let's wind it down. Let's shut her down before we see all this time decay from half a day here and another day tomorrow, and then light Friday, and then the weekend. And it's like so on a trade by trade basis, a put, I don't know. That's the hard thing is now we're reacting. Now it's gapping down. But if it gaps down and starts to rally back up, you might be like, ooh, I don't know, maybe not a put. In fact, if it gapped down but rallied back to 36, I'd be like, you know what, I'll probably hold on to it to see if it can. I don't know. We'll see how bad the news is based on how the market reacts today. Too unstable at the moment for you. Sandy has reduced risk. Are we talking like look for one thing here, maybe there, if the right opportunity shows up, or are you like, nah, I'm just gonna sit this one out for a bit? Anything much means 1 or 2, or anything much means 0 to 1. Ever hopeful. All right, fair enough. Love it. That's mindset. I think the opportunity list still looks pretty good. I think we still even have a couple of things that are setting up. And again, trading plan progress. What are we doing? Right now we're on a sabbatical from our trading plan. The train is getting serviced. The loop is closed. We're on sabbatical. What should we be doing? Evaluating, scale from 1 to 10 each section of your trading plan. As we move into January, those will be the Tuesday, Thursday discussions. Riding nicely, yeah, right. If the indicators and price are moving in your direction, and you have a nice 4.75 market posture, that's a nice sustainable. I will carry that through, right? I want to see. I don't want to shut down just because it's going to get a little time decay hits. I'll just go see how does this look going into next week, so that as traders come back in, when they come in bullishly, I'm ready to just kind of start moving stops, etc. Yeah, we'll look at that one for sure. All right, let's go take a look. But right now, if you're doing any work on your trading plan, you should have at least a few sentences in each section. And then you'll go look at that section. And you can go just download the one I have in there as like think about that would be maybe like out of a score of 80, I would score that at a 70. It could use a little work still, but it's a good. I didn't want it to be like, oh, this is the perfect trading plan, and so everyone's gonna just go copy that. So I want it to be where it's like, yeah, you could get to a 70 pretty easily too, just with a little thought, and it's helping you shape yours, but not define yours. So 68. Okay. Maybe even only a 64, actually, as I think about it. Average score of 64. It's a 64. That's an 8 out of 10 on each section. It's an 8. It's not bad. It needs work. Okay. What's going on today? S&P looks red, but it's actually flat. It's literally flat. Dow is down 0.02. The Nasdaq's up 0.03. The Russell's down 0.02. Interestingly, the VIX is one of the things I'm looking at that's like, hey, this is quite promising. The VIX is breaking down into the 13s, it looks like today. 13s. That looks great. But the precious metals still look bullish. That's kind of always has you feel a little defensive. Silver is this raging freight train. Platinum, you can see just like that. Platinum soars to record on tight global supplies. More precious metal. Palladium, probably very similar. Anyone watch? I used to watch both platinum and palladium. I can't remember even. Maybe I look at the futures. Anyway, okay, there's our opening bell. Top Treasury official. Strong growth shouldn't stop Fed cuts. Yeah, I don't know. What other news do we have? With the economic calendar, we know that this is actually pretty good news. As much as we've seen talks of layoffs, we really haven't seen big job losses in the numbers. Now, I know the numbers have been really spotty and potentially less reliable as we come out of the government shutdown. How good is the data? We're not sure. What are we missing? But the jobless claims numbers, we know that 250 is our threshold. When we see it hit 250, and that first one just sort of was like, boop, little bell goes. It's like, hey, keep an eye on this. And then if it hits 2 more times, 3 weeks, this has been an easy mechanism. A lot of people don't know, like this. They think, oh, it just comes out every week, and it's like, yeah, and it's easy to get complacent as you look at it. But that's why I just want one easy mechanism: 250. Breaks it, first bell. If it stays there another week, oh, not looking good. And then if it drops back to 230, then we're like, ooh, okay, that was weird. We haven't seen that for a little while, actually. And right now at 224, that's a very stable number. Low, right? 215, 220, 230, 225 is kind of like that's a stable number, and we just hit 214. So I think I don't know if the employment is stable and we did have an okay inflation report, it seems, as well, and good growth. Yeah, it's hard to make an argument to then lower rates. I don't know. But yeah, that's it. The news we got, favorable. Fed watch. It continues to orient towards no cut in January. Now it's up at 86 to only 13. Let's go take a look. And you can see exactly what I'm talking about, where you can see it did gap down, but hey, let's see. This thing's already coming. And if we would have stopped out here now, if it looks like it's going to roll back, you're kind of thinking, am I looking for my exit, or am I looking to see if it gets back to 36? We're 35.77. So, yeah, we'll keep an eye on it, but it seems to be okay to watch and then potentially work your way out if you're convinced, or if it gets back into hey, look, we actually tested but held, got down on bad news and got back above support by the end of the day. That's a good scramble, still holding. Here's the market, flat. We're right back at this 690 if we round it. 689 and change if you're a little bit more specific. The VIX is indeed back in the 13s. Actually, it did hit 13s yesterday, so as low as 1364. But closed at 14. Now we're back into the 13s again. That's a great number. I mean, look at this VIX. What does that mean to me if I were to just sum it up? Institutional confidence. And the when we get to the low teens, it's confidence. In these mid-teens, 15 to, let's say, 18, it's more stable. When it hits 18 and bounces back down, 18 bounces back down, I think that's pretty stable. That's, neutral. If it gets above, then this is where we're like, whoa, well, up in this area. We get nervous when it tests like this. But right now, that VIX is, this looks at it like when the institutions are ready to invest. They're unencumbered, right? Does that make sense when I say that? I don't know. I hope that if you're new, let me know, because the VIX is, you can see it imports. It's 20% of our market posture is that right? Yeah, from the VIX. Okay. Speaking of the posture, let's just take a peek at it. So yeah, as you look at trend, volume, we haven't seen anything that's going to disrupt nor accelerate. So I would expect those three things to stay the same. I would actually argue the same thing is true with major market. I mean, there's a chance that we did see a little bit of a pop out of the small caps. Could that move back in? The 66-day only had one date, one time that we saw the Dow all of a sudden move into a leading position. It was like, ooh, where did that come from? Could that just sort of fizzle back out? Yeah, I don't know. Probably. That's why we run the market posture. Sector rotation, I would say, is likely to stay the same. But if anything, we're seeing strength in financials and in industrials. That's looking better and better. My VIX score, I think there's room to go to 1.25 as we dip into the low teens, potentially. I don't know. Yeah, I think it could. I think the conditions look pretty good right now, overall, right? Let's go back to the... Now, do we recognize that we do need to break this 690 at some point? It could pull back again. It could just break through. It could pause around this holiday, Christmas Eve, Friday, and then Monday's out here. And that could be the day that it breaks out. Actually, no, Monday's here, 29th. Okay. Also, good morning and Merry Christmas Eve to those who came in and didn't hear that the first time. Apple. Apple could be trying to make a bounce. Right? It's been just sort of meandering down, but it did never even... I sort of tested the 50. Clearly this one did not come to fruition, but we wondered, and then it came down. AMKR. Oof. You can see this one is a little pause, so it's just kind of... Stochastic still looks favorable. And what I pointed out was we had a consolidation, and then you can see we had a consolidation like that over here. And it looks like, okay, is this it? And then it actually takes a little longer. The total time, I think we're well within that range. Yeah, I'm going to give it another day or two to see if I can't get to Monday without any kind of big violation. Right now, it's just sort of stuck right around the entry. I think the entry was maybe even right around that point, I think. Okay. Amazon. Maybe that's enough of the buyers, and that if it were to do something like, did get back above the 50. So if it did a move like this, kind of like a flag type pattern move, then I'd be more interested. But right now you're just, I don't know, there's no real good trend to speak of here. It's just grinding around sideways. The only big move it had came on earnings, so unless you gambled on the earnings. APH, same thing. There's a lot of this starting to show up where I'm like, I don't know if we're going to keep watching this much longer. ABGO. If you traded it, I'd be very careful. It's starting to look like a bear flag. It's having to struggle. The buyers should be coming in, and they're struggling. They've only overtaken this one candle here. They're starting to fizzle out under the 50. That's the kind of thing that you might think, ooh, what's the next level down if this thing drops, right? Maybe this is a $280 stock. So, yeah, that one would be interesting more to me if it were to break to the downside. AXP, Yeah, a little pause. You can see it pulled back, turned. If anyone pulled the trigger on that, the only problem with that right there, the options have these wide spreads. Anyone else notice? I don't know if you heard the discussion. We talked about this as a potential trade alert, but you can see it's doing the same thing a lot of things are. Got started, and then it's just sort of stalling a little bit. Well, it's the holiday blues, potentially. It's a half day. It's a half day, and it's likely to be very, very light volume, and things may coast for the next couple of days until Monday. So, we can see. Bank of America is doing the same thing. Flat for today. Citigroup still going, man. That was a strong one. Had that little pause, pops out of it. It's a good one. Let me know if anyone took Citigroup. Take a bow. Make a brag. Caterpillar is in City. Dawn, nice. Good trade. Love it. Caterpillar, same thing. It did have a pretty big pullback, but it only pulled back to the 50, and it got a turn. So if you would have said, I'm taking this, I think you would have probably got at least 2-1, even just to the old high, and your stop is down here, right? 3-1 if it gets a new high. That's a good trade in my opinion. It's about the same kind of a move it made here. Maybe not even as big, right? Maybe one of these. And right now, what's it doing? Well, it's pausing. It's just kind of like sitting for a minute or two. Even in this move, you can see it went up and then down, and it had this little 4 days of just sort of like meandering. So don't get impatient with trades, especially because it's happening on Christmas. I'd have to expect that any trade you're in right now bullishly is a little bit sideways. CLS is up a little bit, but that was a bounce off the 100. Would that be a good time to take a trade? If you did, it would be a continuation trade. If you're in it, you're thinking a stop is going to be way back at support. Maybe something like, well, this one I'd probably actually be more hike and ashy. Let's see. I'd probably have a stop underneath these two guys here. And if it broke down, I'd be out. But a lot of these, I'd be more in a support position with a stop. So I'd say it depends, right? Like a trade like this, you could think to yourself, you know what? Did the same kind of a thing. You could get in, let's see, 191, stop. It's almost like 185. What's the low here? 180, 185. 5 points. Actually, I think a coherent trade with a tight stop, just kind of thinking you're going to catch the next, that would be interesting. I'm a little nervous. I think I've added some things without like a detailed look at the options. So just this does have weeklies. You know what? I wouldn't do it. This is coherent. These are the options. This is January. I'm going to throw this off our watch list, I think, at this point. This is January, the standard January. These are going to be the best representation of open interest. If you go here, you're going to see hardly anything. If you go here, you're going to see hardly anything. I've got only at the fives, 175, 180, 185, 200, 900, 200, 900. If I saw these numbers in the weeklies and bigger numbers in the monthlies, I'd be much, much happier. And there are times where you can actually find spreads with numbers like these that are like, okay, you know what? 10%, I could live with that. But these numbers you can see are not even close. If you buy this for $970, whoops. Nope. If you buy this for $970, you're at $750 immediately. That fast, right? That's what's overcoming the spread. Why not just buy the stock? That's absolutely a solution, Kent. For me, I tend to trade options and have like longer term positions that I would say are more prone to like investments than. So I tend to only trade liquid options, and I just think, yeah, you know, if the stock's attractive enough, yeah, I agree with you. Why not? That's a fair point. If your portfolio can handle it, if you've got some margin to trade with, even, I agree. You don't get as much leverage, but you can certainly go get yourself a nice reward to risk ratio. Yeah, 100%. So if you find like, hey, this reward to risk is 4-1, but I only feel comfortable doing it with the stock. Yeah, I would definitely want to trade with some leverage, so at least like some margin. You know, the margin. People are like, I don't want to trade on margin. It's not evil. Just gives you a little bit of leverage, doesn't tie you up. You pay a little bit of margin interest, which is significantly cheaper than time value you lose on an option when you buy it. So it's like, yeah, it's pretty reasonable. How do the weeklies work? The weeklies are just issued once the, you know, I think it's the OCC, the Options Clearing Corp, who is the arbiter of like when a stock has enough liquidity and starts trading enough options. The volume is there in the monthlies that they'll say, you know what, let's add the last time I looked, it was like 450 to 500 stocks that traded weeklies out of like, I think 3,500 options, 3,500 stocks trade options. Only about like, let's say 500 of those trade weekly options. And really only about 300 to 350 of those have like pretty good, like you can see this one technically trades weeklies, but it's trash. I wouldn't trade options on it. It's not good. The spreads are, you know, the only one making money here is the market makers. So, you know, for me, trading options, my world's like 350-ish, about 10%, the top 10% for liquidity. And so the way they work is every week they issue, so they expire on Fridays. So the standard options always expire the third Friday of the month. So if you notice here, the purple ones are the weeklies, the black is standard. That's the third Friday. 1, 2, 3. And you'll notice here, we only have weeklies for 6 weeks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's not a February 13. There is a February 20. February 20 is the third Friday. Now, what's going to happen is when the January 2nds, there's actually 7 right now. Oh no, there's 6. There's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. When these expire on Friday, the OCC, like I say, is the one who then issues this new. There'll be a new February 13 weekly contract that will come out and start trading. And that becomes the one in this gap. When the next one expires, nothing. I think then the February 27 comes, and it's just like a leapfrog. So basically, what it does is it just gives people who trade short-term options all of these to work with. But I would imagine this is going to lose its status. Well, that's a pretty good amount right there. But even here, you'll notice 200. Look how wide these spreads are. So wide. So these are just options. These are options that are getting issued that expire every Friday. That just gives you much more to work with if you trade short-term options. Like I'll trade the weeklies on the SPYs, on some of the bigger stocks, but I typically tend to drift more towards the monthlies. And when you come to the monthlies and you still find bad spreads, you found something that you can't trade options on. What a great Christmas Eve discussion. All right. I'm going to just pop through our list and then, we'll probably, let me move this back over. Good conversation, everyone. Much appreciated for your questions. Credo, a lot of pauses. As I've said, let me give this up a little bit more room. Cisco, still in play, still in a pause. I would still give this, a lot of these, it's just kind of like, let's just kind of see what happens as we carry these until next week. There's Delta, Dow. Oh, Dow's up a little bit today. Fox, pausing. I'd still hold that. First Solar. Such a weird stock where it's like, it's moving so strong. And then every time it gets these big ones, it just gets countered. Big one up, countered. It's an interesting stock. GE, pausing. Gold, pulling back actually a little today. GM, pausing. Google, pausing. Yeah. This is what we're seeing today. IBM would be a potential. Intel. We're gonna have to wait and see. It's on hold right now, but if it gets a later surge, 36. I'm looking for it at the end of the day. Let's see if we can get there. If not, yeah, that one might get closed down as having broken. IWM. A little pause there. I don't know. I don't think they have done enough. I think that we may still see a little bit. Maybe the major market score drops to a half a point. We get up on one, down on one, and it stays where we are. If I had to bet, I would say it's a wash. Stays exactly where it is in its score. JCI, up a titch. Turned into a grinder, that one. It was a good read for a bullish, but it just sort of moved slowly and grinding it out. I think a couple people might still have a little piece of that. J&J getting close to a signal. In fact, you can see it's actually turning up. And you could make the argument that this was a little dragonfly doji, not a hammer, too much of a head there, but a dragonfly doji type pattern. And it's starting to turn. The stochastics is starting to turn. And you might think to yourself, yeah, this is going to make a run at 220. That's 14 points. I could put a stop at 202.5. That's about 4 points. 4 to 14. 3.5 to 1. Valid. Lumentum. The stock is crazy. It's a crazy stock. Eli Lilly starting to stall out. Lamb Research hitting some resistance here. Macy's. Now, Macy's, you can see a little bit more selling, still well above this. If it starts to stabilize in here around this level, it's still worth a consideration. Nice trending stock. MasterCard. Yeah. It's had an interesting breakout. How does Visa look? In contrast, about the same, maybe even a little stronger. Those two work in tandem. Meta still trying to go. I think I can. Morgan Stanley slowing down, but on its trajectory. Microsoft, nothing there yet. Micron, I think just bounced right out of earnings like a cannon. Netflix still not looking strong. Nvidia on a little pause. For me, this is all it needs. If this were to pull back and then like hold and bounce the 100, I would trade Nvidia coming out of that. Next, sideways. Palantir, pause. Q's, pausing. You're just seeing a lot of that. Rocket Lab, that was a great trade. It's pausing. We're looking maybe for a pullback to do it again. Love that one. Always trying to catch something like that. Ross Stores. Maybe. RTX, a little overextended. Silver. So strong, silver. It's got to be a little bit of a shark frenzy. I can't see it holding up there. But maybe the new norm is 50, 55 when it comes back down. That's hard to hold. SanDisk. Those are interesting. SoFi is not looking good. I don't know. I think I'm going to take SoFi off the list. We have just too many stronger financials than that one. SPY slightly up today. STX. Teradyne. A lot of pause. TJX, TJ Maxx companies. Tesla pulling back a little. Yeah. My thought is this. It's basically, if you're in it, you're likely going to be patient. If you're not in it, you're not thinking, hey, let's put a trade on right before Christmas. Let's wait and see if we have something start moving. Maybe all the big players, that's kind of it. We'll see that. We'll see exactly that. But the VIX looks good, dropping down into the 13s and holding on to that. What it's telling me is it's fine to hold. I'm not worried like that there's going to be some crazy sell-off because, yeah, the big players have gone home and they've gone home comfortably. They're like, yeah, things are okay. So if you're bullish, I would say, be patient. There's probably no reason to close today. WBD. Yeah, again, look at all this. It's just, wherever you look, it's just kind of like up 0.08, up, down 0.01, etc. So, yeah, work on your trading plans. We're going to end a little early for the Christmas holiday. Let everyone go and figure out if they're going to make any adjustments to trades. Half day today, yes. 1 p.m. close. Sam, thanks for asking. 1 p.m. close today, full close tomorrow, full day on Friday. So yeah. Merry Christmas, everyone. Hope you have a great Christmas Eve. We're going to a Korean barbecue joint where they bring the meat and you have like this little like hot thing in front of you and you cook it. It's a little family thing. Thank you very much, Doug. Same to you. Same to everyone. The market is definitely meh. Anyways, thanks, guys. It's great. great to see you all. I'll see you on Friday afternoon. We'll wrap up the week, see how things look. Be safe, as always. Happy trading.